Take care, guys. Happy Veterans Day. Yes, yes, sir. Yeah, sure.
Most Angelenos are not aware that you were in the Defense Intelligence Agency?
Yes, I've served in the Navy in a number of different appointments as an officer, intelligence officer, and still in the reserve component today after 10 years of service, and very proud of what we've been able to do, even at this time when the nation's been at war.
What is the Defense Intelligence Agency?
Defense Intelligence Agency is an agency that gathers information to help inform decisions on the battlefield, to help guide our national security, and it brings all four branches together. So folks from the Navy, folks from the Army, folks from the Air Force and the Marines serve in the Defense Intelligence Agency.
What was your role there?
I was an officer in human intelligence.
This is Los Angeles National Cemetery. This is your cemetery, and this is your mayor, Eric Garcetti. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom, and thank you for your leadership, and a very good morning, and happy Veterans Day. And let me thank my fellow leaders that are here today. Actually, I should correct the story. I actually went to put on my dress blues this morning, but couldn't find my cover. I think it's in the wash, so that's why you get me in my BDUs. So if I blend into the sky, it's because Navy's gone all blue with our fatigues. But I want to thank you all for being here today. I want to thank, first and foremost, our great Assembly member, Richard Bloom, who is fighting the good fight for all veterans, and our great Calvet Secretary, Vito Mbastiani, I think is the right pronunciation, if I can say that as Garcetti. But I also want to take a moment to recognize all the staff that is here. You, when we are not here in this group, take care of our loved ones and our past comrades. This is one of the most beautiful places in this city. And if you haven't spent time here, come back. Spend a moment. Breathe in this nation. Because while all the attention this week has been on a national election, and national elections are important, we know that serving this country is not something that happens one day a year. And we know that commemorating our veterans doesn't just happen 2 days a year. We know that service to this nation happens in those small places and those small ways that never make headlines. And that the real heroes out there are not the ones that are in the White House, no matter what party, but the ones that are there fighting our wars, training our men and women, serving day in and day out. And that is why I salute all of you here today. And let me give a special happy birthday salute to our Marines who turned 241 yesterday. I hope you had a properly festive birthday party. And for everybody who has served in all the branches, we know now really that we have one military family more than ever. Joint service is something that we always had, but now that we embody. My unit that I've been a part of, the Defense Intelligence Agency, is Navy and Army and Marines and Air Force serving side by side. And this is the longest period of war this nation has ever been actively at war. The longest period of time that we have been at war. And so I agree with everything that Vito said. We do love it when somebody comes up and thanks us for our service and gives us a hug and a smile. But what we need to do is something more. So when I became mayor, I opened up the first office of Veterans Affairs, stood that office up for the first time since World War II in City Hall. The county does a marvelous job of serving our veterans. Ruth and everybody else consistently does that. But here in this city, where we have more veterans coming home from the wars that we are waging today than any city in the country, including New York, we wanted to make sure that we were greeting those veterans with a job, with housing, with education, and coordinating those things together. We're taking this Veterans Day in today, commemorating the 15th anniversary of the September 11th terrorist attacks and the 75th anniversary of Pearl Harbor. This is a big year for those of us who have lived through those attacks, and a big year for some of you who have lived through both. And we certainly remember those who lay down their lives. And since then, in this past decade, more than 5 million Americans have worn our nation's uniform. 3 million of those men stepped up following 9/11, knowing they could be sent into harm's way. And that generation has borne the burden of our security during a hard decade of sacrifice. And to our Pearl Harbor veterans, let me say this: you fought heroically despite overwhelming odds, and constantly remind us that no challenge is too great for us to rise up to. We know that the military is a place where we don't ask the color of your skin, the language that your parents or you were first raised with, how or where you worship God, whom you love. We don't care if you're a man or woman. We don't care if you're young or if you're a little less young. We just ask, do you want to serve? And when we serve next to each other, we see those divisions that we have felt maybe too much this year dissolve. In a foxhole, in a windowless room, on an aircraft carrier, up in the sky, those things don't matter because we are the United States of America. And so when we felt that tug and we answered that call and we said, how can I help and how can I serve? Let us embody that this Veterans Day. Let us throw down those divisions and reach out to somebody who's different from us as we have done in the military, and maybe we can lead the healing that we need in this country right now. And lastly, let me honor one other man who was my grandfather, Salvador Garcetti. He was born in Mexico. He lost his father in a war, the Mexican Revolution, and was carried over the border by my bisabuela, my great-grandmother. And he landed here in Boyle Heights. And he wasn't a citizen. I guess you could say he was a dreamer before that term was used, but this was his country. In World War II, he wasn't drafted because he still wasn't a citizen yet, even though he was about 30 years old. But he stepped forward and he said, this is my nation. And he volunteered. And he left his family, my father and his sister, and he went over to the Pacific Theater in the Philippines and fought for this country and helped us win VJ Day. And because of that, I am here today as the 42nd mayor of this city. My other grandfather, on my mother's side, made clothes, uniforms, for the soldiers that fought in that war right here from Los Angeles. He was a humble tailor, but when war broke out, he answered the nation's call too. Some of us make the uniforms, some of us wear the uniforms, but we all have a responsibility to serve this nation. So God bless our veterans. God, please look down on this country and heal us, make us strong, defend us, let us be a light unto everybody. Let us bring every homeless vet home. We're 7,000 done and only 1,200 to go. Thank you to our vet hunters and everybody who's out there every single day helping them come home. Let us get to our 10,000 strong, which is what our goal is, to hire unemployed vets, and we're over 7,000 today. And let us make sure that we are a light unto all nations. Thank you. God bless all our veterans.
I hope there are not any Giant fans sitting in the audience. But as you see, it took me a little while to get up on these steps. Those days of jumping up and down gone. I served 2 years in the Army. I was proud to wear that uniform. I have 4 brothers who served in the United States. So my father always told us we should be proud that we live in the greatest country in the world. And without a doubt, he was right. So today we honor the people who gave their life, who didn't have the opportunities to come out like we did. But we'll never forget you. We'll always remember that you were the great part of our country. So today, you're seeing it. So today we all believe we live in the greatest country in the world. Thank you very much.